Hey everybody, welcome to Matt Men, your source for all things professional wrestling. I'm Andrew Zarian, and I'm not the man with the voice today, but the man with the voice, Rich Tambolian's with me.
Hello, my babies. Give a little Elvis this morning.
I lost my
little
voice.
Vibrato.
Yeah,
I know, man.
Yeah, this is happening a lot now with me. I don't know what's going on, but this is. I did a show with Jimmy Vans from Fightful yesterday, founder of Fightful, and after the show, I had no voice, and it never came back.
You should tell people the truth that you were just too busy yelling at yourself in the mirror last night.
I hate myself. I just scream at myself regularly. Stupid.
Why?
Stupid. Idiot. I had a friend that would do that. Friend's father, my friend Chris, his father would constantly, when he was driving, he was this erratic German man, okay? Crazed German. And he would, every time he would drive, he would drive me home from Forest Hills.
Yeah.
And he would take his fist and put it in his mouth and just go, why? Just screaming as loud as he could. He would pull over in rage and just start screaming with his fist in his mouth. And then he would calm down and just drive. Yeah. I'm like, I don't want this man driving me to Bayside again. This is a show all about professional wrestling. And man, what a great time to cover pro wrestling. Everything is happening right now. Returns, people coming back, new people are running things. This is a wild time, Rich.
It is a wild time. Shall we start with the news?
Let's do it.
Sad news to start out with. Gene LeBell, Judo Gene LeBell, passed away at 89 years old this week. What an influence on the fight business, huh?
Yeah, man. He's a fascinating guy. I believe his stepfather and mother or step-parents, I don't know the exact makeup of the dynamic, but they were promoters. He was doing judo when nobody was doing judo.
Right.
His background is in wrestling more than anything else, but he really used that to propel himself in judo. But a very unique character you will never see again. There will never be another Judo Gene LeBell. And, think about this, right? This guy has covered, not only is he known in professional wrestling, right? He's also known for, being close with Ronda Rousey, the father, the LeBell lock, the influence he's had on professional wrestling, like Bryan Danielson and other people. And in stunt work, people don't realize this guy was a big-time Hollywood stuntman. And
for sure.
really, really solidified, was very well respected and educated a lot of people in the film business on how to do this safely. Very interesting guy, 89 years old. The last of those rough Freddie Blassie type old guys.
Hard guys, yeah.
There's a couple of those guys in my neighborhood, there's this guy Bobby that's like that, one of those really sharp older guys that I'll sit there and I'll talk to him for 3 hours. They don't make them like that.
No, not at all.
Person. It's a very unique personality. But rest in peace, Judo Gene LeBell.
Yeah, RIP. So I'm gonna try something a little different with the notes here. Anytime we cover it, I'm just gonna highlight it green.
Yeah, perfect.
So they don't go back over it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to carry this because
that's fine.
I'm gonna suffer. So I'll just throw in a few pointers.
WWE uncovers more payments in the Vince McMahon investigation. Who knew? SEC filing on Tuesday, 2 additional payments were revealed. They took place in 2007, 2009, totaling $5 million. The amount now is that this is like Powerball. The amount of the payouts now is $19.6 million. Are we gonna hit 30 million?
Are we hitting 30 million? This is, I put out a tweet and I said, how many WCWs are we at so far? And people got mad. People are like, you're making a joke out of this. I'm like, this is absurd. $19.6 million, another payout, 2 more payouts, not a lot of information beyond that. But, this is what he did. I don't, there's going to be more. I would be shocked if there isn't more. I honestly would be very shocked if this doesn't continue further. But $19.6 million in payoffs. I didn't see the details. Was this, maybe MG Geek knows the details. Was this talent again?
Yeah, that stuff's probably all going to come out, and there's definitely going to be more, I think, and it seems like I feel like something's going to come out where it seems like it's more of a reasoning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where this guy might actually not even be controlling anything behind the scenes. He's just out,
I think
because of all this stuff.
Yeah. The more of these that come into play, the more likely that's happening. Wild. That's a lot of money, man.
That is a lot of money. But again, billionaires, the dude's a billionaire. That's like a drop in the bucket.
Billionaire. Yeah.
And
that's why he does what he does, right? You could buy it with money.
Or did what he did.
Yeah.
Kevin Dunn is expected to remain with WWE for now as per Fightful Select. It seems like there is nobody ready to take that position. And you know what? That's fascinating from a production standpoint, right?
Yeah, because okay, so you have a lot to say about this because you've worked in production, you do videography, you do photography. Have you ever seen a company like that ever not replace or have a secondary guy on hand?
No, I think that's the unique thing about this situation is that he seems like he's such a mastermind when it comes to the minutia of their production that he's probably the only one who can feel it out as well as he thinks they could. And it seems like also it's a position that probably doesn't have many assistants, you know what I mean? Or at least anybody to take the guy's place, which is kind of fascinating. It's like, it's almost like, who's going to replace Stanley Kubrick directing a movie? I mean, unless it's like Steven Spielberg with like AI or whatever, but that's, it's kind of like the same thing. Tomato.
Rich? Yeah. Like they were grooming that next generation of production in NXT with Full Sail. That was kind of the point with like having the production team separate over there where you're creating the next generation of people to replace. And it's also a little alarming. Like, God forbid, like nobody wants anything bad to happen to anybody, but God forbid something bad happened. He couldn't fulfill his job anymore. Who's running your TV? Who's running your production? That is fascinating. That's the report. Fightful's reporting that there really isn't anybody to take the position. I believe it. I mean, that's a reality. Kevin is very powerful in that company. For a while, a lot of people considered him like the number 2 guy in that company. He's make or break. Like we talk about all the time, like for radio, for example, right? Your sales team in radio is what will make or break the show. Like we were talking about Howard Stern beforehand. If Howard was not liked by the sales team, he could be ruined.
Right.
That is how a lot of it works. Kevin Dunn controls that power. If Kevin Dunn is not a fan of yours, he's the one with the camera. He's the one deciding the production elements. You're done.
Exactly.
So very interesting. We've heard the rumors that Kevin Dunn and Triple H are they're not on the same page with a lot of ideas. I think that's a reality. Look at how WWE was shot. Main roster was shot in 2017, 2018. And look how NXT was shot. Very different.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and that's kind of an interesting point to make where I think it's a matter of taste. I think that at the height of that original yellow and gold, that's what Triple H wants wrestling to look like. Very old school, right?
There needs to be an in-between though. It can't be NXT, the black and gold. It has to be an in-between of whatever they want to do.
Yeah. WrestleMania tickets go on sale today. Possible spoiler with that too, because Cody's face is all over those promos.
Yeah. There's a lot of plans for him for Mania.
Very cool. WWE announced the bracket for the women's tag title tournament. How do you feel about this tournament? I know WWE has Vince era WWE not hot on tournaments, never show brackets. Now we're actually like the changes are slow and steady where we're actually getting match placards at the beginning of the night.
Are they calling it a tournament?
Yeah, apparently.
MG Geek. Is it like an eliminator? Like because they never use that word.
Flat out tournament.
It's what did you say? It is a tournament.
Wow, a tournament. Yep.
Yeah.
And they announced the bracket with the graphic and everything.
Graphics. They got graphics.
They got graphics everywhere. Tournament everywhere. It's okay. I don't know. Is the final boss Sasha and Naomi?
That would be cool as hell, especially with all the returns that are happening and the returns that might happen. Was this tournament just to set up Io Sky and Dakota Kai to win the whole thing?
I don't know, but they look good.
They look great. Listen, great workers. They brought Dakota Kai back. It's a good faction with Bailey.
Yeah.
Also, we got $1.99 here from Batcher 3000. Happy Friday, my hoochies.
Happy Friday, my hoochies.
Thanks, man.
You know who the hoochie daddy is?
Who?
Bobby Shmurda.
Bobby Shmurda. So how do you feel about this tournament? Do you think it's cool? Do you think it's a fun thing? The teams are interesting. There's not a team on this where I'm like, you know what? I don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm into it. I think this has to lead to something more than just crowning a new champion.
Yeah.
Right? This is going to lead to something else.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, there's two scenarios here that play out for me. Do you think someone... Okay, so I have the graphic here. Do you think someone gets pulled from the tournament? And they put a replacement?
That is very interesting. And I kind of want to agree with you on that, because if you remove everybody else besides Io Sky and Dakota Kai, that makes sense what you just said. You know, if they turn around and remove like Xia Li and Shotzi, right?
Well, are they eliminated? Like, what's the bracket right now? Because we already had a match, right? Did we have one?
Yeah, I think we had the Io Sky, Dakota Kai versus Tamina and Dana Brooke.
Yeah.
And then tonight we're getting another one. Oh, I'm sorry. We also had Alexa and Asuka and Nikki Ash and Doudrop, I believe.
Okay. Interesting. I'm curious to see where they go with this and how they end it, because there's two scenarios for tag teams to happen here.
Yep.
Especially tonight on SmackDown, which I think we're going to get to. But I think there's something interesting with Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler that's going to happen.
That's very cool. Do you think this is the return window for Sasha and Naomi?
What a great moment. You crown the new champions, and the people that never lost show up with their belts.
Right.
You know,
it makes for good wrestling.
People love that shit. It's universally beloved, you know, like the champion that never lost has the title, and now the or whatever, the newly crowned champion. That always gets a reaction. It always means something to some extent.
Never fails to work. Like
never
there's certain things in wrestling that always work and always happen, and that's one of them. You know, the guy who never lost or the girl who never lost comes back.
Yeah.
StarCast has filed a trademark for Southwest Championship Wrestling. Conrad said this week that Ric Flair's last match was part of a much bigger plan, and unfortunately he passed out twice during that match because of dehydration.
So Southwest Championship Wrestling was Joe Blanchard's promotion. It was founded in 79. It's a Texas promotion. So very interesting that he registered that name. You know, I when I saw what they did with Jim Crockett Promotions, I messaged Conrad. I was like, dude, you pulled this thing off. Like, fantastic job. You know, like you should be proud of it. It is very difficult to put on a wrestling show, and it is highly unlikely that if you were doing a high production show like that it goes off the way that it did. And it was seamless. It really was. You know, like the big joke was like ECW would do this on pay-per-view all the time and it would fall apart, right? GCW had technical issues when they put on their show. This is the first time Conrad's done it, but Conrad got the best of the best to help him produce this thing. Road Dogg was producing it. Obviously, look at who was involved. You know, the talent that was lent, who was helping with production, who was working on it. They did a great job putting together the event. Whether or not you liked the Ric Flair final match or not, you still have to say, my God, Conrad did a great job. The name should be Jim Crockett Promotions when they continue using it.
You think so?
In my opinion, I think it holds something. It holds definitely something. But, you know, you could also do it with the NWA. There's a lot that you could do. But Southwest Championship Wrestling, very interesting why you picked that name. I'm very curious why. Yeah,
that's interesting. And also, I think you and I are in the same boat, is when we turned that on, we were like, wow, this actually has some production value to it. Like, I expected something completely different. I expected like almost like a GCW type show.
You know what? Maybe that's what it was going to be at the fairgrounds, because originally they were in the fairgrounds and you could only make that building look so good. You know, there's like 1,000 people or maybe 2,000 people there. You could only do, you know, the fairgrounds are the fairgrounds. You could only shoot it a certain way. Moving it into that building, maybe they realized they had to up the production, or maybe more people wanted to get involved because they sold like 6,000 tickets, you know? Yeah. Which is amazing.
Yeah, it was an interesting. I'm very curious to see where this goes.
Yeah, me too.
It was an interesting production. The Flair stuff was very unfortunate. You know,
I rewatched it, I said to myself I wouldn't, and I wanted to because so many people told me I was wrong about the match. I rewatched it, and it was as horrific as it was the first time to watch it. And no disrespect at all. It just, you could tell he was suffering.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm not criticizing him for having the match or anything. It was just very difficult to watch for me because I noticed, I think most other people noticed that he was going through something, and we found out what happened, right, Rich?
Yeah, passed out twice because of dehydration. Sucks.
Yeah.
Which also makes me think, again, I said it like the last couple of weeks on the show, it makes me think there's another one in the tank. Wow. And, I'm not saying I want to see it, but I think because of the success of this and moving forward and having Flair involved in some way, he's probably going to want to make up for that somehow, right?
I would tell you that paper, after watching that pay-per-view, I would have said there's 0 likelihood or maybe 5% likelihood that he would do this again. Now, with 2 weeks past, I would say there's about a 90% chance he would do this again.
Right.
I think he kind of wants to do it again. And even during his podcast or an interview, he said he kind of wishes he didn't say it was his last match.
Right. It's kind of like, like it's like the man of 1,000 retirements, right? Like where
Terry Funk.
Terry Funk, how many times did Hogan retire?
Hogan's never retired.
Are you sure?
Yeah, Hogan never had a final match.
So you mean he's coming back, brother? Imagine.
You know what? I'm willing to bet, okay? I would put money on it right now. After that Flair show or during that Flair announcement, some promoter attempted to get in touch with Hogan to do a final match.
Mm-hmm.
I could guarantee you that. 100%. And I think a lot of these other guys may do it too. Listen, Steve Austin came back, right? And he put on a hell of a match. He did it 2 nights in a row.
Yep.
He put on a hell of a show. Dwayne
that's
is
a different story.
Yeah, I mean, Dwayne is possibly coming back. Flair came back. I don't know. Did somebody try to get Bret Hart to do one?
I don't think.
I mean, would he want to? I don't know.
Yeah. Probably too dangerous at this point.
I think there is a place to do these returns for certain people.
Absolutely.
100%. There is a market for it. There's a place for it. Like Honky Tonk Man's coming. He's going to do something. Maybe Jerry Lawler will have his retirement with Conrad also. Maybe Conrad does that. He does that Legends retirement show.
I think the Flair thing gave a lot of the older guys the itch to do that one final tour. And look at Muda's doing his retirement tour going into 2023.
I would hope he does something in AEW.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would hope so. Yeah.
We're gonna go into your territory now. The SmackDown rating.
Here we go.
2,093,000.
Yeah, a little down, but you know what? It's holding up. I thought SmackDown was a good show. I very much liked it.
Yeah.
The big story here is Nakamura gets a title shot tonight against Gunther. Shayna Baszler won the gauntlet and becomes a new #1 contender. Will face Liv at Clash at the Castle.
Yeah.
They're going to do, I guess, a contract signing, and Ronda Rousey's going to show up. This goes into months ago, somebody had told me that the plan was that Ronda and Shayna would team up. They would be a team.
Mm-hmm.
I think we kind of saw some of those pieces get put in place for this to happen.
Yep.
I think now is the moment that you pull the trigger. And you know what? I'm glad they waited to do it this way. I'm glad they did.
Yeah.
It worked out. This was supposed to happen months ago. I think it was after WrestleMania they were planning on doing this. Was it around
That's a good tag team right there.
Do you guys remember when I said it? I can't remember.
I think it was around WrestleMania.
Had to have been.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, listen, I think it's good, and I think Shayna getting to shine a little bit on SmackDown is good. She deserves it. She's a great worker. I mean, the stuff that she did in NXT was so impressive.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Another one, that they brought up and they kind of softened.
Well, I think if she continued under Vince, Shayna would have fully transitioned to a comedy role.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, but that's every character. Vince loves to do that. He takes somebody, makes them huge, and then turns them into a comedy. Triple H was a comedy character for a little bit. Steve Austin, The Rock, every main person that eventually becomes a comedy character in that show.
And it works. It works sometimes.
Did Ken Shamrock ever wear like the wig?
I think Steve Blackman, good example.
Steve Blackman, another great example. Yeah.
The best example, Mick Foley, Mankind. Mankind was probably one of their best comedy characters.
Mankind was a boiler boy, right?
Right.
He was a mutant.
as a rat-eating boiler man.
He was a rat-eating boiler boy. He would just hang out with the rat. He was Lenny, right?
Right. Yeah.
And he turned into one of their best comedic characters of all time.
One of their best draws, one of their best comedic characters. And
you know what, though?
Not only that, yeah.
Rich, you gotta give it to him. This guy, right? Cactus Jack, right?
Right.
Hardcore wrestler, bloodbath, blood and guts.
Right.
Much like the sheep herders. Goes to WWE, is given this boiler boy gimmick, right? Where he squeals and he's deranged. He doesn't say, this is bullshit, I don't want to do this. He embraces it and kind of like the pulling up the hair and everything. And then they give him dude love.
Yeah.
And you know what? Guess what? He does that perfectly too. He was able to make everything work.
Made every single thing work. Even when he came back as himself.
I'm so sorry, guys. My voice is exhausting. I know. I'm trying. I'm trying not to. I'm trying to make this as vocally attractive as possible for you guys.
Drew McIntyre confronts Roman Reigns at the end of SmackDown last week, but it was attacked by a returning Karrion Kross. Now, very cool that this guy is not showing up dressed like a shitty action figure.
Poor guy. I mean, listen. I hope this is a great run for him.
Yeah.
I hope
I think so. I think it will be. But now, again, like it's Friday night. The rumors are swirling. This has been a week of returns. Talk to me about Dwayne.
Not today.
Not today.
No. Who thinks Dwayne is coming tonight?
A lot of folks are like, oh,
really?
The Rock. Yeah.
No, I can't imagine.
But I do want to see Kross. I want to see Kross wrestle tonight. I want to see Kross versus Drew in some capacity.
I want to see Kross versus Drew. I want to see Kross versus Roman. I hope he has a great run there. Should he shave his head or keep the hair?
I like the hair.
Okay. All right. You decided. Let everybody let him know. Rich said keep the hair.
I like the hair. Yeah.
Raw did 1.96 with a 5.4 rating. Very good for the demo. They've been on a roll. It was another decent show. Another good show. Finn Balor went over Rey Mysterio. I was going to say Roman Reigns. Rey Mysterio, Rhea Ripley brought a beat-up Dominic to the ring. Rhea's just beating up everybody. Fun match.
Yeah.
Ghost Sky, apparently, and Dakota Kai. Is that her new name?
Yeah.
The G and the I are nowhere near each other on the keyboard. Io Sky and Dakota Kai win the first round tag match over Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke is unrecognizable.
Yeah.
Okay.
What happened?
Not criticizing her looks at all, guys and girls. Beautiful woman. She has transformed into a different person. I did not recognize her. She looks fantastic. She looked great before too, but I just did not Did you recognize her? I was like, who is she? Who is this person?
Yeah, it's kind of when you from her debut to now, she does look a little unrecognizable. But again, the pressures of television, right?
The pressures of television, yeah.
If you were on the roster,
no, I think she looks good. I don't think it's the pressure. I think she just changed her look. She's not as jacked as she was.
Yeah.
And she looks great.
I think the same thing with Becky. Like Becky went from being real broad and shredded to being very fit. It's not a knock on anybody. You did say though that if you were ever on the main roster of any wrestling promotion, you would Botox the shit out of your face.
Oh yeah, I would. Every part of me would be Botox. I think I need it. I'm getting those wrinkles here. I'll get Botox. I have no problem with it. I have no problem. Whatever makes you happy. I'm pro doing whatever. You want to look like a cat person? Go right ahead.
Absolutely. Bobby Lashley surprisingly retains the U.S. title over Ciampa in a great match. I really thought it was going to go the other way.
Yeah. But the build made it feel that way, right? Because Ciampa put out that tweet dedicating to Harley Race. He came out with that Harley Race jacket, which I don't think Vince would have ever approved of.
No, that's all Triple H's hands, right? He's like Triple H's head.
Yeah, because he loves Harley. This is all Hunter. Yeah, like for people to say, like somebody tweeted the other day to me, he's like, I don't know what you're seeing, but I don't see any changes to the show. I'm like, I mean, this is a great example. Would Vince McMahon have like thought people would even know who Harley Race is if he came out with the Harley jacket, and he did the for me, I loved it. Thought it was cool.
Same here.
It was a nice thing for the old timers.
At the end of the day, Triple H is a wrestling nerd boy, right? The Triple H loves classic wrestling. I think that's the only reason that made it on TV. Like I agree with you. He probably carried that shit around with him, like wherever he goes. He's like, I just got to bring the Harley Road with me.
You know what someone said to me? Someone's like, everybody thinks Vince doesn't like wrestling. Like Vince loves wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Like no, he really like loves the art of wrestling. He just has a different vision for it. I'm like, okay. I'm like, that's interesting.
Yeah, big.
Bobby Lashley. AJ Styles beat The Miz.
Yeah. Fun street fight.
Yep.
How dependable is The Miz?
How what?
How dependable is The Miz?
That's why they love him. Okay, I got a question for you.
Shoot.
Throughout the show, they were doing interviews in front of a car accident. What the hell was that car accident?
I don't know.
Did they explain it?
I was in and out of Raw and like doing a bunch of stuff around the house. So I missed a lot of it, enough to put it together. You know what I mean?
Well, MG, he's here. What was that? The car accident? Because I saw that like Dewdrop was in front of the car at one point, like talking. There was like a whole conversation happening around the car. They towed the car. They moved the car. Whose car was it?
I think we were supposed to believe that it was Dexter Lumis crashed into the. They kind of did this kind of like a fan that would. I looked at it like a fan that was. I
have not got an answer from you. You gave me no answers. you know that, right? You just said nothing. You said Dexter Lumis, a fan, accident.
He's a politician.
Yeah. You know what? Where were you on January 6th? Can I ask you that?
Oh, hang up on him.
Thank you, though, MJ. So I guess maybe they were alluding to Dexter Lumis. I don't know how they could tie that into Dexter Lumis. I don't know that he's more like a cerebral type guy. He's not crashing cars like a lunatic.
Why not, man? Like they had before he got fired, like people were talking about how like he's got all the tools needed to be a franchise player. The look.
Well, what is he doing? Driving around like Lucille Bluth with a martini in hand and crashing into walls?
That's hysterical, by the way. Like this is like the new. There were rumblings where like he's got a Steve Austin vibe to him.
You think so? I don't know, man. I
think there's a little bit there.
You know what? I hope there's a lot of people that love it. They're very into this. I hope it's successful. I hope it works.
Do you think they packaged Gargano too because they were having a thing before this?
Yeah, maybe they're all back.
That'd be fun.
Maybe they're all back. Tonight's Friday SmackDown. Intercontinental Champion Gunther defends against Shinsuke Nakamura. I was going to say that Shinsuke should win this.
Yes.
But who's Gunther facing at Clash at the Castle?
Right.
So I don't know now. WWE Women's Tag Title first round match. Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah versus Shotzi and Xia Li. Liv Morgan, Shayna Baszler contract signing. I'm sure Ronda Rousey will get involved. Also, there's possible rumors for more returns. Possibly top dollar. Where did the Hit Row stuff come from for a return?
Again, like weird rumors rumbling this week on like those NXT folks that got fired.
Yeah, a lot of those. Listen, man, I like it. I've heard 5,000 names. I can't even report on anything because Dexter Lumis, I was told, but I was also told everybody else. Like, I think it's a lot of speculating on who should come back. And I am sure there's a long list of people that they would like back. They got to freshen that TV up somehow. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But it also shows you that NXT, the current NXT, is not ready.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? So, like, again, this may be the start of a very new and interesting era for WWE in the respect that all the cool stuff that we're starting to see on Raw and SmackDown has Triple H's fingers in it. Those are all his guys, right? Like Monday, KO coming back and kicking ass, right? Rollins still in the picture. Like the Liv Morgan stuff, all the people kind of returning to like form, like Karrion Kross coming back with his entrance and not like that wild outfit. Do you think some of the guys who jump ship immediately to AEW are now kind of like, damn it, if only I held out a little bit longer, I was a Triple H guy, I could have done X, Y, and Z?
I don't know. You know, I think there's going to be a lot of those, right?
Like Keith Lee. Keith Lee's a good example.
Yeah, great example. Great example.
If Keith Lee
had stayed, had not gone to AEW, he would have been brought back 100%.
Right. Or I don't know about Swerve, but I think Swerve's in a good position in AEW.
It's very possible he would have been in a better position than he is currently in. And not that he's in a bad position currently in AEW, but it's very possible he would have been put in a bigger program for a return in WWE.
Yeah, and you know what? I think NXT needs like a new coat of paint.
They're gonna get it. They're gonna get it, but it's not gonna be the same old NXT. Let's skip through NXT. I don't want to spend time on it today.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We're gonna skip NXT. We're gonna go right into AEW news.
Yeah.
They announced the bracket for the AEW World Trios Championship Tournament. First round matches: Death Triangle versus Will Ospreay and Aussie Open. Cool. Andrade, Idolo Dragon, Lee, and Roosh versus Young Bucks and Turnbuckle Dan.
Yeah,
TBD.
So we'll go into that when we talk about the show, but there's a lot of speculation on how they're going to play this out.
Yes, I'm getting like tingles because it could go either way. House of Black versus Dark Order, Trustbusters versus Best Friends, and the Dynamite rating was 972,000.
I have a question for you. Do you think this bracket should have been a little larger?
Yeah, for sure. I think it should have been larger.
This a while ago. Yeah.
I feel like just because of how.
Uh-oh. We lost Rich here. He's gone. MG, you there?
I am here.
Okay, so it's him, not me. I'll pick it up here. So, I mean, my point is like, okay, Death Triangle, Aussie Open, great. Andrade, Dragon Lee, and Roosh, great. Bucks, obviously, Elite is great. They did a good job here, but there's still some other teams they could have added to kind of extend this a little bit. I'm wondering if they didn't want to do it because of timing. Because the Bucks need an opponent, and Kenny. Oh, there you are. Okay. Yeah. My question was, okay, so my theory is maybe they didn't extend it because they got to figure out what the hell they're doing with the Bucks.
Right.
What do you think they do here?
I don't know, man. Like, I do want the Hung Bucks, but I also wouldn't mind Kenny. But the Bucks are...
Well, they said it's not happening. It's not the Hung Bucks, right? We saw it on Dynamite. So it's going to be Kenny. It's going to be Kenny. But how are they going to get him there before, how do they do this now for Kenny to be there at the pay-per-view?
Does Kenny come back as a babyface? That's the thing, too.
100%.
He left as a hot heel, and the Young Bucks just turned. And now there's also the whole, I don't want to read into the Kota Ibushi stuff too much, but him saying, like, I'm going to give AEW 3 tries and blah, 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 blah. Maybe.
Is that what he said?
And he alluded to the Golden Lovers doing something.
Yeah, and I think Kenny's coming back for this. This whole thing was for him. Tony Khan, he already said that this tournament with Kenny, that's the whole point of this. I don't know how they get there though. This is interesting. Unless he debuts next week and doesn't do much.
Right.
I mean, is he going to come back now? How many weeks? We're 3 weeks away from the pay-per-view?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
We are 3 weeks away from this pay-per-view.
But you also have Grand Slam, which I think they really try to make it a pay-per-view level show.
Kenny 100% is on this card. Is on All Out. 100%. It's happening. There's I have no doubt about it. He's on this card. They need the show to really do well. And Grand Slam needs to do really well. Those tickets are not moving as fast as they did last time for Grand Slam. They're still under 10,000. But, when you announce Kenny Omega and you announce CM Punk and you announce Bryan Danielson and you announce whoever else is going to debut or not debut, you're going to sell out some more tickets. So they're halfway there. They're a little over halfway there. So, this is definitely set up for Kenny and the Bucks, for sure. Okay, let's see how they do it. The final, maybe it's going to be Death Triangle and the Bucks and Kenny.
Yeah, honestly, I really thought you were going to have the addition of House of Black with Sting and Darby and a third,
Yeah. Or the Ass. You could do the Ass Boys. They could have continued this to qualifiers for it. They could have done
which would have been fun.
Which would have been fun. Unless they have Brandon Cutler in there with them, where he's he doesn't do shit, and then they replace him because he gets hurt. He says, "Oh no, I sprained my ankle, I can't do it," and then all of a sudden Kenny Omega's music hits.
Yeah.
They could do something like that too.
It's going to be fun. I think they're really leading up to something interesting, and there's a lot of moving parts, as evidenced here by, you want to go into Quake by the Lake?
Hate the name.
Your least favorite name for anything of all time.
By the way, Dynamite, this show did 972 with a .33, number one in cable for the night.
Why are they not doing over 1 million, Andrew?
The summer, they also have not had a really strong run of strong TV consistently. They're missing key people. Think about this. They've been missing. I think next week they'll do 1 million for sure. CM Punk speaks for the first time. They'll hit 1 million. But CM Punk has not been around. Danielson has barely been around. Omega's not there. MJF is not there. They have not told you the build for the title. They haven't built heavily for the pay-per-view. You had New Japan as a distraction. You've had Ring of Honor as a distraction. They're going to be fine in September. That number is going to be hitting 1 million. But competition is stiff, and perspective is everything. And right now, the perspective is that WWE is on an incline and AEW is on a decline.
Well, okay, so let's talk about this first match from Wednesday, right?
Okay, yeah.
Coffin match.
Yeah.
Darby Allin beating Brody King. Immediate blood, right?
3 minutes in.
Yeah, 3 minutes in, immediate blood. I thought it was a fun match. These guys have a great, not to name he who shall not be spoken of, but their relationship almost reminds me of Eddie and Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
Right? Where these guys are friends backstage, right? But they beat the ever-loving crap out of each other, Brody King and Darby, right? It's interesting that we posted, as we usually do on social media when these shows go on, and I asked you this a while ago, and my question was, when do the fans start turning on AEW? And I think we're starting to see that a little bit.
I think the last couple of weeks we've started seeing it. It's interesting because it really comes down to people wanting their expectations to become true, the way that they want it to come true. Do I think they've had great TV consistently? No, I don't think they've had great TV. I think they've had decent TV consistently. Yeah. It's never a terrible show, but there are. I mean, we're in this group chat where we talk about this. I have a lot of criticism of the last couple of weeks.
But across the board too.
But across the board too, yeah, across the board too. But the last 2 weeks especially, I think there's a lot of holes here. I don't know if it was last week or the week before. They kind of did a better job at it. There's little things here and there, but I don't know. I have my opinions. I don't think the writing has been great. I think there's a lot of holes here in the coming weeks. But you know what? There was a lot of moving parts, so I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt now that Punk's back to get the program going for the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It's hard to reshuffle the deck so many times because not only did you lose all this talent, you also had a Ring of Honor situation happen. So you're dealing with that. You also had the New Japan show that you're dealing with. So it's been tons of stuff happening. And when that happens, you kind of lose focus sometimes. It's all good stuff. I agree with that.
It's all good stuff. It's all good stuff. But I think now's this weird turning point where, I think, we're seeing it on social media where, folks who were once fans are starting to drag AEW a little bit because, it's like when you give people what they want, eventually they'll get content and turn on it.
Yeah, but you know what, though? I have to tell you, those people also have something valid to complain about. Should you have had another coffin match?
This is the third one, right?
Second.
Okay.
Between the two. Right?
I'm cool with that. I don't mind the blood. I think it works for these guys. You know, do I want to see like a bloody Luchasaurus and Christian match? No, but I think with these guys, it definitely works. You know?
Yeah. Listen, it worked. It's fine. I didn't have that big problem with the blood. The blood wasn't my issue. It was just that why are you doing the same match again after a couple weeks? You know, or a month, whatever. Those are specialty matches.
Tornado Tag, Los Ingobernables, Andrade Alito and Roosh with Jose the Assistant defeated the Lucha Brothers. I thought this was a fun match. It was a good match. They did the classic, let's take the Luchador's mask off, and they tied his head to the ring with it.
Yeah. They do that a lot with the mask.
Yeah.
They take that mask off constantly.
Yeah, which was a good match. You had Luchasaurus beating Anthony Henry in kind of a squash, Hangman turning down the Bucks, which we covered before. And here's an interesting guy. Miro says, Miro, he's been tempted by the House of Black. Julia Hart interrupts him to tell him to give in. He says he's going to destroy the House of Black. Miro is a guy that I think is definitely going to go back to WWE.
By the way, he said he wouldn't. He said he's having the time of his life, shockingly.
You know,
he said he can't do the schedule.
You can't get into the mind of these guys, but like, how dope would it be? This guy comes back with Lana, you know, big marquee program for like the U.S. title or something. I'm not saying he's getting lost in the shuffle in AEW, but I don't know what this guy's doing. You know, like the arcade shit that he did before. I didn't get it.
The arcade shit was dumb. Yeah, I like this stuff. I don't hate it. I like his weird promos.
Okay.
The best part was Julia Hart touches his shoulder and he goes, "Don't touch me. That shoulder is dedicated to only one woman," or something like that. "You're not that woman." And then he walked away. But does he have a diseased eye also, like Sting?
I think everybody's got a diseased eye.
Like Sting had the diseased eye and it was spreading. Maybe Sting turns heel.
That would be cool. I'd like to see that.
I like the diseased eye. But like if you were to spit it on the hand, does a hand get diseased? Or does it have to go through an orifice?
I want to see Aleister Black not only do the mist, but start friggin' biting people. And that's how it spreads. You know, imagine he has a match with Miro, he bites Miro on the shoulder.
And it's like black coming out.
You just see it start oozing, just like black and green, you know.
It's the Papa Shango shit all over again.
That would be amazing. Wardlow and FTR run off Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Santam Singh. I honestly get a huge kick out of Jay Lethal and Sanjay and Santam as a team.
I'm going to tell you, not a fan.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's a waste of time on TV.
Really? Tell me why. Tell us all why, Andrew.
I don't care for it. I think it's dumb.
Your voice is coming back, by the way.
It is. I'm not a fan of it. I don't like the whole thing. I think it's taking up too much time for nothing. I know they want to get Satnam like over big time, but doesn't do it for me.
Ricky Starks beat Adams. Ricky Starks defeated Aaron Solo with the Factory. Great. TBS Championship, Jade Cargill defeated Madison Rayne. Was this her first time on AEW television?
On Dynamite, first time.
Okay. She was on like one of the other shows, right?
I think she was on Friday or Saturday.
And your main event, Jon Moxley beating Chris Jericho. Jericho looked fantastic.
Yes. So MG put that he came out to his old WCW Lionheart theme. I don't think he did. I think that was a dub over. No, okay. You guys. It was. I think it was like an actual song. Does somebody what played when he came out? He comes out very excited. He was a total babyface. Lionheart Chris Jericho came out, and they had a great match, very good match.
Fantastic match. So after the match, the Jericho Appreciation Society attacked Mox. Blackpool Combat Club and Eddie Kingston come out to brawl, and then boom, CM Punk returns. Good return.
CM Punk returns.
Great return.
Big surprise. Nobody knew. Yeah. They did a good job at hiding this. CM Punk comes out. Saves, I guess, saves Mox and everybody. Yeah. Him and Mox have a standoff face to face. Mox gives him the finger covered in blood, and there you go. You've set it up for All Out. Jon Moxley, CM Punk.
Fantastic. Punk looked good. He looked taller for some reason.
Punk looked like he was like 6'5". No, but he looked like he put on some muscle.
Yeah, he looked big. He looked taller. I guess his rehab went well. I like the gnarly facial hair and like hair now. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
No,
he's
he
not
looked
even
really good.
he's not even bothering to dye, which I think is great. You know, like he's letting that gray grow in. Somebody once told me John Moxley's tough guy character is what a 9-year-old thinks a tough guy should be.
That's actually really funny.
And I always think about that.
No, that's the best. Well, I mean, it's a pro wrestling tough guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a pro wrestling good guy, tough guy.
I always think about that.
So I'm curious about this match and how this is going to go for both of these guys. You got two baby faces going in. Does Punk win?
Punk wins. MJF returns.
I feel that they're going to do something. Then I fear they're not going to do a clean finish.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. I think it's going to be a wacky finish. So here's a little situation, right? Does Blackpool Combat Club get involved somehow? Do they all turn heel? Imagine that.
I don't know, because now, here's the scenario, right? You got a couple of these matches that you have to do to get out of the way before anything happens, right? You got a couple guys that have gotten hurt. Danielson's gotten hurt. Punk got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Omega got hurt. Okay, so now when are you doing these matches? When are you doing Danielson and Punk? When are you doing Omega and Punk? When are you doing that return Omega and Danielson? Those are some matches that you have here that you have a great opportunity to do something with. Whether or not that's in Tony Khan's plan for 2022-2023 or not, I don't know, because you also have to space these things out. But there is a point that you're going to have to go to that match sooner than later, because time is you're going against time here.
I agree with that.
You're going against time, and I get that you're building Daniel Garcia. I know you're building these younger guys, and you're utilizing the big time names to build them, but. What kind of money is a CM Punk Bryan Danielson world title match in AEW?
Yeah, it's tough. Like, time is definitely the factor. I think that's a tough call, especially with the past year, which has been a litany of injuries to all these guys that Tony Khan spent a lot of money on.
Tons of money, yeah.
And, you have Mox did his stint in rehab, so he was gone for 90 days, right? Punk has been gone for a while. Kenny, Danielson, Cole had his injury. A lot of folks got injured in the last year, which was unfortunate. And do you think instead of blowing your load with all these matches at back to back, that they should do that just to get them out of the way? By the way, these guys could stay healthy.
He came out to his ECW theme. It was a White Zombies song.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I think you have to do something soon. Not now. I'm not saying right now. I'm not saying tomorrow, but you got to think about, okay, when is the plan for this match? An MJF return, okay? An MJF return, an MJF world title, an MJF and Bryan Danielson. These are matches that you have not seen, and it intrigues people.
Yeah.
And you are now under 1 million viewers per show consistently. You're in that 970 range, which is fine. It's great. But you are battling an optics issue, a perception issue with WWE now, where people think, or it is actually good. It's not that they think, it is better. It is slightly better. There's still tons of stuff that I do not like over there, but you have to agree that show has gotten improved.
100%.
Now, whether or not you think it's a dramatic improvement, that's on you and your opinion and what you like, but I believe that show is improved. And you know why? I don't have 3 hours to waste on a Monday, ever.
Exactly.
I'm not saying this to say I'm a busy guy. My schedule is so crammed between my kids, my 18, jobs, my personal life. It is so busy where I don't want to waste 3 hours. And for me to say, okay, now I'm going to spend time and watch this live and watch 3 hours, it is a better show. And I'm going to watch SmackDown tonight because I want to see what happens.
It's also an attention span thing.
Does AEW... It is an attention, because it's so difficult now. We're so used to those, TikTok's 30-second clips that 3 hours of time is like watching a week's worth of TV in one day.
Yeah.
Do you believe right now, WWE 100% is going into the season of, I want to see what happens next, which has always been what made that show successful. It wasn't whether or not it was great every week. It was, I want to see what happens next. Does AEW have that? Because I have to tell you, they've been lacking that. On and off, they've been lacking that recently. Something happened, and I think it has a lot to do with the injuries, obviously, that is out of Tony's hands, acquisition of Ring of Honor, the combo show to New Japan that kind of, was very difficult to put on due to politics. And he still did a fantastic job. But do they have, obviously this week, now they have it, right? I want to see what happens next. People are going to tune in on Dynamite, but they haven't had that for a couple weeks.
I think they lost track of that with all the stuff that was going on, but I feel like you're going to get a return to form, and they've been doing a better job of having a Rampage as a better supplementary show.
Yeah.
Tonight, and you know what? SmackDown did a great job last week. SmackDown did a great job with Karrion Kross coming back.
Yeah. Yeah. We're in a very unique period, but I think now, AEW, put that foot on that fucking pedal and just slam it.
Go nuts.
You got to do it, because it's not only that you need to sustain your audience, you also have to grow. You're going into a contract renewal.
Yeah.
You have to show growth. You have to show that this is not the secondary league. This is something different. This is pro wrestling. You do your own thing. You're not WWE. They got to do it now, because... And listen, they've been doing it. They've been doing it a great job. I think they've just had a little bit of a slump, which is fine.
Yes,
3 years.
Absolutely.
This has been a remarkable run for Tony and everybody there for 3 years.
It's okay to keep the show status quo for a little bit and then ramp it up.
Yeah.
And then pull it back and then ramp it up. I think we're going to get a lot of really nutty, cool stuff from AEW for the second half of the year because of all the returns, the big shows. I do feel like it's going to rock. And I also think that at the end of that Mox Punk match, Punk wins, a hooded figure from the audience hits him with a chair, and it's MJF.
Be fantastic. I'm into that. Very into that. Good heat, monster heat, Listen, a 3-year run, very difficult in pro wrestling.
Absolutely.
WCW, all that WCW we talk about is like a year and a half.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I always think about that, where it's like it's such a condensed. The two things in wrestling that are super condensed that we think are forever: Austin's run and that highlight that high time of WCW.
Okay, that high time in WCW started late '96 for most. Listen, they had great matches. They had great lucha matches. They did some pretty cool stuff. But that main run, mid '96 to about '98, right? '98 was the end of that. WWE 97 and a half ish to 2001, right? They had that incredible run. AEW had 2019 to now. They've had an incredible run. You have a little slump. I think this is going to continue to be a very good territory for wrestling and everything else going on. But they just a lot of moving parts. Get focused. That's all.
I think they need PCO in the electric chair. Rampage tonight. We'll go into Rampage, and then you want to do some questions?
Yeah, let's do that. Oh, no, I want to go into House of the Dragon.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go into
that. Bryan Danielson returns and speaks tonight. Hook speaks. Gun Club versus Bearhausen, Danhausen, and Eric Redbeard. I thought that was a cool announcement. And Parker Boudreaux versus Sonny Kiss, which I think is going to be great.
That match. I want to see that match so bad. Okay, that is the match for me. That is the main event for me. I want to see Sonny Kiss and Parker Boudreaux.
Parker Boudreaux's a gnarly looking dude, man.
Boudoir photos. Parker Boudoir.
Do you think they can turn? Do you think AEW can turn Parker Boudreaux into their like Super Wardlow or Brock Lesnar?
I don't know. Let's see. Because WWE let go of him, and they obviously let go of him for a reason. They don't let go of guys that big.
Yeah, well, they do. Braun Strowman. arguably the biggest guy. Yeah,
and they let go of him because they were paying him too much money.
Swerve in Our Glory speak. Orange Cassidy versus Ari Daivari, and you get the AAA mixed tag team championship. Sammy Guevara, Tay versus Dante Martin and Sky Blue.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because Sammy and Ty Conti have that. Oh, she's Ty Mello now. She's not Ty Conti anymore. She changed her last name. People ask me why, but Conti was her previous husband's name.
Oh, there you go.
So she just got married to Sammy, so I guess she didn't want to be Guevara.
That looked like a fun wedding.
Yeah. Well, Tony Khan seemed to have the best time over there at that wedding.
Why not, man? I wonder if he ended up paying for it too.
So AEW Dynamite for next week to be presented by Game of Thrones House of Dragon. This is pretty
awesome.
Cool. Okay,
awesome.
I'm into this. Okay, and we'll go into why. This kind of has to do with the new Discovery and Warner Brothers synergy that they have.
Right.
We know that Tony had a meeting with them in LA that apparently went great. I'm sure this was part of that, the tie-in. We already saw that Shark Week tie-in a couple of weeks ago. Now we're seeing the House of the Dragon tie-in. If there was any doubt that the relationship between WBD and AEW was bad, or good or bad, this kind of solidified the truth here. And it shows you that there's a lot of confidence in what they're doing. And I'll tell you why. They're not... Game of Thrones House of the Dragon is a franchise that is being glared at with criticism, right?
Mm-hmm.
People want this to be as good as the first series.
Mm-hmm.
There was such a bad taste left for a lot of people. There's a lot of money that was put into this IP right now.
Yeah.
You are not going to sacrifice or derail that product by doing some sort of association that you feel is weak or bad or unnecessary. They obviously recognize there is value in the AEW audience because of the key demo.
Crossover.
And there is a tremendous crossover with, that audience and this new franchise that they have. I think this is a very good sign for all the detractors or the people that were doubting that AEW's renewal would be an issue. The question is not whether or not they're going to get renewed. There is nothing that is ever indicated to me from anybody at Turner or Warner Brothers Discovery now, right? From people that I speak to regularly, friends that I have there, there's been zero indication that there's any risk right now. I mean, never say never, right? You can't ever say never. God knows what could happen. But as of today, there is zero risk for them not to get renewed. The only issue is, what is that renewal going to be? That renewal fee. What is that TV rights fee going to be? And is it going to be something that Tony accepts or wants? Right. There's a lot of money in this brand in AEW. There's tons of money.
Huge.
First run programming that costs under $450,000 an episode. Do you know how much they're paying for House of the Dragon? Do you know how much they're paying for these 90-Day Fiancé shows? Discovery is very big on keeping shows under $450. I think the number, I think maybe $500. I forgot what the number was, but they have a number that they want to keep shows under. AEW is well below that. So for them, it's a very big positive to have. What do you think?
No-brainer. It's a no-brainer. You get that crossover fandom. Me personally, I'm a big Game of Thrones fan. I can't complain about fiction. I loved all of it, and it's been on my TV every day because HBO has been doing a marathon to lead up to House of the Dragon. I think it's a smart move. And plus, it's kind of interesting how this Discovery, HBO, whatever it is going to play out, Yeah. And we've also, the other thing is what we've been talking about on the show for the last couple of years is, does whatever this thing that might be a merger of HBO Max and Discovery also contain the AEW stuff? Do you think this is a litmus test for that kind of thing?
Of course, yeah. All of this is. Battle of the Belts is a test for sure. Rampage not so much because that's I guess that they kind of know what they're doing with Rampage, but I think Battle of the Belts is a test to see what they could do, in a different time slot with them for other kind of events. I think this crossover thing is majorly a test to see if there's any kind of positive synergy that comes through with it. There's a lot of these things that they're doing. I think it's all good for AEW when you have brands obviously they see value in it, right? Over another brand. Yeah. They could do a Game of Thrones thing on some other property.
Yeah. Do you think
practical
we're going to get
jokers or this?
Practical jockers.
Practical jockers.
Do you think they're going to get they're gonna have people in costume next week in Game of Thrones style.
You know
costumes.
what? I have to tell you, I do think that the fact that you have the Dragon Slayer versus the American Dragon is perfect, right? As your main event.
Exactly. Dragons.
Dragons. You think? I don't know. Maybe they do a whole thing crossover. Danhausen could do something wacky.
Yeah, all your spooky guys could do something kind of spooky. Sting, like Sting.
The Iron Throne. The Iron Throne on the stage has to be there.
Sting's whole return was Winter is Coming.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Right. So
because they're on a Warner Media property. That's why they were able to do it. Loved it.
Yeah.
That was great. Actually,
there's a big reveal. The AEW roster is in canon with Game of Thrones now.
Can you imagine Sting is the Night's King?
The Witch King, or the what do you call it? Yeah,
Night King. Yeah,
the Night King, dude. If they throw Sting on a Game of Thrones episode, but just as himself, that would be.
Do you know?
Awesome.
You know when they? I got it. You want to know the finish? Where how I put Sting? Remember when they resurrected Jon Snow?
Yes.
Unfortunately, the resurrection goes bad, and it's just Sting. He turns into Sting
okay
with the face, but the face paint is permanent.
I would be okay with that. I love weird shit like that. I don't care what anybody. I really do not care what anybody says. We watched that Predator movie the other day, the new one. It was awesome, right?
That
Prey on Hulu.
You know what? I have to watch it because numerous people have told me that it is. See, what's your favorite Predator? I'll tell you mine.
The first Predator. It's Predator 1.
No, 2 for me.
Really?
Love Predator 2. Love
Predator
the urban setting. Love like the Jamaican drug dealers. I love the whole thing. I thought it was a fantastic show. A fantastic movie. I enjoyed it better than the first one.
Interesting. Prey is really good. A lot of people enjoy it more than the classic Arnold one.
That's what people are saying.
But Marvel also has the rights to the Predator comic. I don't know if they have the rights to the full franchise. And in my head, I'm like, oh shit, are we going to get Predator versus Wolverine at some point? I want shit like that. I want Sting to show up on a dragon in Game of Thrones.
He becomes the Mad King. Oh, got it. They could do Eddie Kingston as the Mad King. You know?
Perfect. It's all working out. Let's see what else we got here. Next week's Dynamite is like you said, Danielson versus Garcia, Tony Storm versus Killing King so far, and Elite Rush and Dragon Lee versus the Young Bucks and who knows.
Very cool. All right.
Questions?
Let's do questions. G1, let's just do quick. Okada A block leading with 8. Lance Archer with 6. Jonah with 6. B block, Jay White 8. Tamatanga 8. Sonata 6. C block, Zack Sabre Jr. 8. Tanahashi 6. Naito 6. Goto 6. D block, David Finlay 6. Yujiro Takahashi 6. Will Ospreay 4. I'm very behind on the G1, guys. I'm so sorry.
Same here. I usually hold it like a hose and let it rip 1 or 2 days. I'll just watch everything.
Yeah, I'm so behind. I'm going to catch up this weekend. I'm going to have some time this weekend.
Yeah, same. I'm going to try.
Hey, but also our fellow Empire member, F4W Empire member, Filthy Tom Lawler, fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
Our comrade, our ally.
Friend of friends.
Friend of friends. Absolutely love seeing him in there too this year.
All right, guys. So we're going to do some questions to wrap up the show. If you want to super chat us, we'll hit up your question first. You can super chat any amount, and let's go for it. We got a $4.99 here from Ryan Martins. How many more WWE returns are on the way? And do you think Triple H is bringing people back too fast? That's a good one.
Ryan Martins. I love making last name plural for even people that it's not plural. Like if his name was Ryan Martin, I would say Ryan Martins. How many more of these return? I think we're going to see some more. And there's also the big names. Is that big looming question about Bray? Fightful Select had a great piece early in the week where pretty much said like Vince McMahon couldn't stand Bray. And he had a serious, he would I
don't get it.
I gotta find the article, but it was kind of alluding Vince was really nasty with him about it, his weight, and he was they were not good, Vince and Bray.
Very interesting. What are you, Mankind? What are you, Kane? What are you, Mankane?
How many cheeseburgers did you? I'm like, okay, like the dude is not a thin guy. He never was.
Thick dude. Yeah.
He's a thick dude. Not everybody's gonna have that body. Mm-hmm. Embrace it. Do something interesting with it.
Exactly.
Like, some people hate the Bray Wyatt stuff, the Fiend stuff. I love the original Bray. Yes. I love the later on Bray. And I really enjoyed the Fiend. I got what they were trying to do. It was a very good IP for them to have.
I still think there's time because I'd always say they missed the boat with having a Demon Finn Balor and Fiend tag team.
But they faced off against each other, right?
Yeah, but I want like a tag team where they're just like these supernatural effing monsters going at it.
Didn't we get that weirdo tag team with Matt Hardy and him?
That was great.
But that was done really poorly too, right?
It was okay.
It was half-assed.
That's a thing where like you can really like who knows what went on behind the scenes, but from what we've heard, it seems like that's one of those things where like Vince didn't get it and he didn't like it because it wasn't his. That was that whole delete shit saved Matt Hardy's career.
It extended it by another decade.
Yeah. And now it's like almost legendary territory, right? Where like even a few years from now, you'll be like, oh yeah, remember when Matt Hardy did like the ultimate deletions and like this nutty persona, you know?
He has to be careful that hand doesn't go too high though with the deletes.
Yeah.
There's a fine line there, guys.
You got to keep it low.
You got to keep it low. Always keep it low.
Got to keep it low.
I see it in the crowd sometimes. People are doing the delete. Like in the crowd, I'm like, that's a little too high for my comfort.
It's very high. Very distasteful.
Very distasteful.
$10 from Kyle Masters. Sorry, super late with the work. Today with work, we'll have to watch back. Love supporting the boys. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle. The boys.
Also, I believe Kyle made a video last week of Hogan doing.
Yes, he did.
Kenny Omega's moveset, which was
Hulk Hogan.
It was a beautiful. Cadillac Carson, does Danielson win with the Dragon Sleeper?
I would hope so.
Yeah,
I really would hope so. He needs the win. The Daniel Garcia loss was interesting, and now you've kind of set up the third match between them, at All Out. You could do that.
They're going to put on a good show. I think there's going to be a nauseating number of Dragon references throughout the whole show.
Oh, my God. Tons of backstage stuff. Tons of Game of Thrones references. All right, I'm cool with it.
I'm also cool with it. This is from BC Knight on Twitch. Will Triple H bring back the Cruiserweight title?
Do they need the Cruiserweight title?
No.
Because everybody's a freaking Cruiserweight.
Everybody works like a Cruiserweight. Yeah.
Kevin Owens works like a Cruiserweight sometimes. By the way, love the Kevin Owens stuff that they did on Raw. I'm glad he's back to being like this, terrible human being on TV. Love it.
Oh, I got a question for you.
Yes,
does
sir.
Does Pete Dunne come back as Pete Dunne instead of the newsie, the newsboy?
I mean, but he's like a rabid newsboy, right?
Yeah.
Didn't they call him a rabid Wolverine at one point?
Maybe they may have. I feel like they did use that. I feel like they did use that. Pat, I think McAfee used that at some point.
Somebody used it, and I was like, ugh. I don't want the newsy, deranged boy that gets upset. Yeah, bring Pete Dunne.
Yeah.
Let him. Why can't he freaking wrestle? Why can't you show how great he is?
Again, I think because he's a Triple H guy, we're going to get some cool stuff with him. I think we're going to get some, what we're going to get? We're going to get some cool stuff with the Viking Raiders too.
Yeah, they've been really pushing how great of a tag team they are.
And Ricochet. I think you're going to get like the return of Ricochet to form, right? And you know what I think we're going to get?
Yeah.
I think we're going to get War Games on a bigger stage.
I know that they're going to Cardiff, okay? They're going to Cardiff.
Yeah.
It's in Wales. But if there was ever a moment for him to come out as Rick O'Shea, isn't this the moment?
Oh, forget it.
Isn't this the moment? I want to see
agree.
Rick O'Shea.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Corey Richmond, do you do Punk versus Kingston 2 at Arthur Ashe Dynamite? Hashtag ask Mattmen.
I mean, Punk's booed that night. He would get booed in a heart in like all night.
Well, I think like my little piggyback on that question is, do we see the return of the man who brought the house down, Homicide?
Homicide. I want Homicide back.
Yeah. He's been sleeping under Arthur Ashe the entire time.
He wrestles for, he's our regular, he's like resident at Catalyst Wrestling. Mm-hmm. Homicide. I'd like to see that. Do you think we get it? I mean, I don't know if you would want to do it, because I think Punk would get booed in Flushing.
You need, I think you definitely need heavy concentration on New York guys. Oh, here's another one for you, Andrew.
Yeah.
All the returns to WWE we haven't thought of possibly Enzo and Cass.
I think Cass had, well, yeah.
Triple H guys, right?
I think Cass, I would be shocked if he doesn't end up in WWE soon. I would be shocked. I would be shocked. The guy looks fantastic, unless there's something else going on that I don't know about in his life, or maybe he doesn't want to go. I don't know.
But that would be cool, right? Just boom, tag team, titles are on the line. You hear the classic shtick. Triple H brings these guys back. Why not, right? Ratings pop, crowd pop. Enzo and Cass versus the Street Profits would probably blow the roof off the place.
Salman Rushdie was stabbed just now.
Like right now?
Right now, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
We got one from NYC Demon Diva, friend of the show. Fight me, Zarian.
You know what I did? I got really stoned the other night, dude. And I was in my tub, right?
This is not over your head.
Okay, the toaster over my head. And the only thing is, like, I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm finally doing it. This is how I get my juice. This is how I get my power. And then I was playing Bad Bunny. I texted him. I'm like, this freaking album is fantastic. Have you listened to that whole album?
No.
It's so good.
Yeah?
It's so good. Yeah, he's so fantastic. Every time he comes on, I think of her. But I'm gonna
in a parking lot.
How mad would people be if I just punched her right in the face? Would people be really mad at me? I think they would, right?
I think that would be the end of it.
You think that'd be the end of this whole thing?
That would be the end, and then you do a high delete. Oh, brother, we're done.
If I punched Issa in the face, I'd never want to do that to her. First of all, good friend of mine.
Yeah, I know.
We talk all the time.
I know.
She just threatens me.
I feel like if you ever did that, she'd probably rip you a new one.
You think that whole island would come after me? They would have to. The entire island.
Manhattan Island, yeah.
Manhattan Island, yeah. Manhattan Island. No, listen, Issa, when are you coming? Let's get some drinks. We got trashed that one time.
Watch out, Issa. He's gonna splash a martini in your. He's gonna try to splash a martini in your face.
Okay. Here, punching is a little too much. Okay. What if I had my martini?
It's a lot too much.
Like the punching is a little much, right? I'm not gonna punch Issa, but a martini in the face. One of these. Ready? You're one of these. How dare you?
I think there's a time and a place for everything, but if it's right off the bat, as soon as you sit down, you order your first drink, and you're like, psh, like that's just.
But it has to be a how dare you that goes into play, right? Like how dare you?
Yeah, you have to turn into Niles from Frasier in order to get away with that.
Love it.
Issa, question for you in the audience: how would you react to Andrew splashing you in the face with the martini?
I think she got the hell out of here.
She was like, I'm done. I'm done with these jokers.
I'm done with these jokers.
This is from Heather. After Drew and Karrion, who is next for Roman?
If you do Karrion, maybe you wait a little. Maybe you do it at like SummerSlam, right? Survivor Series or before Survivor Series. So we got Drew September, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe do Karrion. No, well, October is going to be, late. Yeah, October's going to be the Saudi show, right? So that doesn't, I don't know what you do there.
Yeah.
November, you save it for Survivor Series.
Right.
Maybe.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Or, you could do that. You could extend out a little bit. And then now you're into Royal Rumble already. And the whole thing is building up to something else. I don't know when you do it. I hope it's not just like a stupid TV match where he just loses. And they're like, or maybe do that with Roman. He just eats it. And they're like, who could freaking beat this guy? Nobody.
Yeah. I think there's going to be a crazy finish for that Cardiff show. I think Drew is going to come like this close, and then something crazy is going to happen.
But maybe Drew should win. Maybe it's time. You do something different. It makes people talk. Drew wins the title. Now it's Roman losing his mind.
Yeah.
Becomes like the Mad King. See, another Game of Thrones reference.
It's just spreading. We got a $5 super chat from our buddy Cadillac Carson. Do you think Roman will still have both belts by Mania? Also, I'll try watching my wrestling while in the tub.
Dude, it's the best. It's the best. I do a little bubble bath. That tub is huge. You've seen my tub.
I've seen your tub. It's very big. Both of us could easily fit in there.
Easily fit in. No, I don't think he'll have the titles going into Mania. I think you take the titles off of him. You talk about this tremendous run that he had, and he faces Dwayne
without the titles.
Without the titles, yeah. No, you because remember now you've locked in how you got to do the finish. You know, like depends on Dwayne's schedule. You kind of want to, if they have The Rock beat Roman, which I don't think they should, but if they do, there's no consequences like a title being changed.
Right.
And it doesn't need a title, you know. Cody and Drew could be the match. Cody and someone else could be the match. WrestleMania, you know, you have 2 nights. You're probably going to get Ronda and Becky, right? You do Ronda and Becky. You do Dwayne and Roman, Cody and whoever for the title.
Right.
Do you have another legend return, or is The Rock big enough? Yeah,
I think The Rock's big enough. But then you could probably have like an Austin thing happening. But you know, like I think Roman's going to hold that title and lose it at Rumble.
You think? Yeah. Well, Rumble this year, 2023. Yeah.
So Roman holds that title until Rumble, loses it at Rumble. Cody wins a Rumble, and then we see what happens after that.
You know what people have not given us? Fantasy booking in a while.
Yeah. We should do that next week.
Yeah, let's do that next week. What else do we have?
All right. We got a couple more questions here. There we go. This is from BC Knight. Do you think NXT will get another reboot soon? We're coming up on a full year since 2.0. Wow, it's been that long.
Yes, BC Knight. I think we're going to get a reboot soon.
Mm-hmm.
I would say soon we would get some not a hard reboot. It's not going away. This direction of NXT is not going away because many people in the company believe that they did nothing for character development and creating the big star, and all they did was have these great matches. And by the way, like that's a negative to a lot of people there, not to me.
Right.
I had the time of my life. I think NXT really. I mean, for us, Rich, for doing the show. It was probably the thing that drove the show forward.
Big time. It was so much because it was like this weird thing that started on the internet, right?
Yeah. I think, for us, it was a major part in us, kind of falling in love with pro wrestling. The pipe bomb began it. NXT was happening. There's some really good stuff happening in New Japan. Bullet Club is running wild. There was a lot of important key stuff that happened between 2014 to 2020 when it came to pro wrestling, and NXT was a major part of that. So I think they understand, they recognize how important that is, but they will never be a very well-produced Ring of Honor ever again. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a different evolution, and I think it's going to be, whatever they do is going to be better than it is now.
And let me just say this one more thing, right? A lot of people criticize that roster that they had. They said, oh, those guys are too small, not main TV acts. Listen, there is a conversation definitely you could have about that. That guys like Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa are the world champions that WWE always has. The answer is no, not really. Obviously, they something like Bryan Danielson was a smaller guy that had it, but that is not the direction that they go. But that doesn't mean it's a negative because you know what? How long did we hear a wrestling company will never do over 10,000 people in a building for a show?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, All In did it. AEW did it. New Japan and Ring of Honor did it for that mega show at the Garden because it's the Garden. But NXT was doing it every quarter.
People want it. People got it, and they're going to get more of it. The Adam Cole thing, I think, is fascinating.
Do you know how hard it is, Rich? 10,000 people in a building. They were doing 10,000, 12,000, 11,000 for those pay-per-views. You're piggybacking on a major show, but if you're not offering something that people want to see, they wouldn't show up. And I think those guys did a tremendous job there.
Exactly.
The issue is the WWE philosophy,
which hopefully turns in. I think with Triple H at the helm, that philosophy is gonna turn a little bit because he was always a guy that I think just loved wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Look at it, like arguably one of Triple H's greatest feud, to go back to the Mankind thing, was with Mankind, right? Not traditionally what a WWE superstar looks like, right?
Remember when Triple H was the death of WWE and how this guy was keeping everybody down and everybody hated Triple H?
Right. He was kayfabe behind the scenes.
He was
and all
creatively
that stuff.
keeping guys down and wouldn't. Listen, maybe a lot of that possibly could have been true, but also it's interpretation. He wants the best of the best, and he was the top guy in that company for a long time. Very interesting. What a PR 180.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Amazing, right?
I'm really excited to see what happens. It's making me tune into WWE again.
Yeah.
We got one more. This is a super chat from Ryan's $4.99. Thank you. With Triple H now in charge of creative, do you think we get better theme songs? I saw Drew tease the return of Broken Dreams on Twitter.
I don't know if maybe a little bit. Like they're gonna go more metal. It's just gonna be Metallica playing in loops. Everybody gets a Metallica song.
A lot of Motorhead. Did you see that they're canceling Metallica? Well, they're trying to cancel Metallica.
They're trying to cancel Metallica now because there's a whole generation of people that discovered Metallica from Stranger Things, like younger, like teenagers, and they don't like their problematic lifestyle of booze and women and
from
drugs.
40 years ago.
From 40 years ago. Can you effing believe that? I mean, what is happening?
Yeah. Well, this is where we start aging out of those discussions, because to us, it's like, people suck and they're stupid.
What do you think Bobby Shmurda's doing?
I kind of don't want to know.
The Hoochie Daddy.
So what do you think? Think we can get a better theme song?
You know what? Maybe they're going to go a little bit rougher. Maybe. That's a good question. I like that. That's a great question.
That era of CFO NXT themes was effing beautiful. Do we get the return of Glorious Bobby Roode?
Yeah, where is he?
Yeah, I think he's gonna. I feel like they have money sitting there. Put that robe back on him. Have him come out to that theme song. Get away from Ziggler. That's a lot of money right there, right?
Yeah.
One last question. You ready?
Yeah, let's do two more.
Okay. Does Gargano make more sense for AEW or WWE at this
WWE.
point? Yeah,
in a heartbeat. I no doubt about it on my side. I think WWE is the better. It makes more sense for him. He's very comfortable there. He already has his foot in the door there. Hunter's in charge. Is his guy. Will he be world champion? I don't know. I don't know if that's the direction they should go. But can they present him on TV in a good way, in a positive way now? Yeah, I have total confidence that they can. Well, before I didn't have any confidence that they would ever do that with Johnny Gargano on the main roster.
Exactly. Now I think they could have another Daniel Bryan style white hot baby face on their hands if they brought in Johnny Gargano the right way.
Yeah.
Like a Giant Slayer type gimmick. That would be awesome. Imagine Johnny Gargano debuts on Raw, beats Omos.
Yeah, cool. Oh my God. I don't want to ever see those two people next to each other.
I think that's the match, and then you have him go. He'll probably go against Ziggler first. You know what I mean? Is that seems like he's like the gateway.
Okay,
let's
what else?
see. Steven 2411 on Twitch, with Kross going after Drew and giving his warning to Reigns, could Cardiff turn into a triple threat match?
I was told no. I was told it is not turning into a triple threat match. But maybe you have him cost, Drew the title in Cardiff. Maybe that's their cop-out.
Yeah.
But definitely not. I was told no, but who knows? They lie.
Yeah, exactly.
They make
a little swerve on you.
They swerve us all the time. Is that it? I think we're done.
I think we're done, baby.
All right, boys and girls, we're done for today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This was a lot of fun. I'll be back Sunday with Wrestling Observer Live. Tuesday with We're Live Pal with Garrett Gonzalez. And again, on Friday next week, we'll be back with Matt Men. All right, guys, that's it. See you later. Take care.
Later.